What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another video. So I'm going to give you a stimulus check update today. I have a lot of stuff to cover, so I want to just go ahead and get right to it. But first off, on this channel, we talk about personal finance for travelers. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the little bell notification so you can get future updates on my videos. Okay, so the first story I want to talk about is we have 156 economists. They sent an open letter to the government. It just says the government. So I'm hoping it went to the Senate and the White House. The House is kind of on board, I think, but when it comes down to it, this open letter is basically saying we need reoccurring payments. And so this is being rehashed. They're bringing this back up. So these economists are saying, yes, we need reoccurring payments. We need every month you need to stimulate the economy. You can't just do it once. You can't just have that one-time payment. And so this is more ammunition. I mean, when it comes down to it, this stuff, I'm not going to say it's going to sway the senators, but at least you can put it out there and say, this is where we need to go with it. And you never know. Maybe the White House is listening and they say, hey, you know what? Reoccurring payments is probably a good thing, especially by there being an election. You remind people every month that money's coming in. So we'll have to see where it goes, see if this open letter has any effect at all. So it's interesting that you have 156 economists saying this is what we think needs to happen. So we'll have to see where that goes. All right, so the next story I want to talk about is the timeline. So I've seen some articles that are saying that early August, you should receive your next stimulus checks. First off, there's no second stimulus check yet. And I still get questions every video I put out. When are we getting that second stimulus check? How much is the second stimulus check going to be? We do not know the answers to those questions because we do not know if there's going to be a second stimulus check. It's looking more likely than not that we will receive another stimulus check, but we just don't know. And we don't know how much it's going to be. And we don't know when the next stimulus package will be signed. So it's kind of hard for us to know exactly what's going on when it comes to that. One thing I will tell you, and we heard Mitch McConnell a couple of days ago talk about the 40,000 or less, you put that number out there. First off, that's just something he's putting out there. That doesn't mean it's going anywhere at this point. It's he's basically, that's a proposal. He's saying, yeah, you know what, we're looking at about 40,000 or less. That needs to be negotiated. Okay, that's not anything. Like everyone, and I did put out a video. I talked about it, and now you have people that are in the comment section saying, oh, 40,000 or less, that's crazy, this and that. Okay, that's all. He's just putting that out there. He's putting that number out there. So think of it like this. It's just like when you buy a car. When you buy a car, you sit down with that salesperson, they're going to throw a number out to you. And then you're going to say, no, I don't want 10,000 is too much. I'll pay 7,000. And then they'll counter and say, no, 9,000. And you'll say, no, 8,000. Then you guys will figure out a number. That's the same thing that's going on here. 40,000. And this is Mitch McConnell just saying this, 40,000 is where his starting point. So basically, the Democrats can come back and say, no, that doesn't look right. We want it to stay at 75,000. And then he might counter and say, okay, what about 55,000? And then they might work out a deal. But when it comes down to it, if they have to make those changes, and when I say they, I mean the IRS. So if you're in a situation where they say, okay, this is the new standard, it's going to be 40,000 or less, and then we'll ramp it up. And when it ramps up, then it's going to be less and less and less, or what have you, whatever they figure out. If it's a change, if it's anything different than the CARES Act, the 75,000, then now the IRS is going to have to make changes. And that could take more time. So there is an argument right now going on where they're saying, look, keep it 75,000, keep everything the same. That way we know who the money will go to. We don't have to try to figure out, okay, does this person qualify or does this person qualify? Have people putting in their information again into the portals and all that stuff. They don't want to have to go through all that. So the easiest way to go about it is to keep it exactly the same. And all they need to do is push a button, and that money is going to go out to the same people. And then they've made some mistakes. So, I mean, we even saw the IRS was sending money to dead people and all that kind of stuff. So at least now they can figure all that stuff in and send it to the right people. So it's easiest if you keep it to 75,000. And maybe that's why Stephen Mnuchin's kind of, direct payments. And you don't hear him really saying anything about this whole 40,000 or less. That's Mitch McConnell that's putting that out there. So it'll be interesting. Even if they raise the amount. So if it wasn't $1,200, if it was $2,000, they still know, as long as the criteria is the same, they still know who's getting the money, who's not. So it's still just change the number, push a button, and it goes. So let's hope that they're thinking along those lines. Okay, so the next story I want to talk about is 1.3 million jobless claims last week. So this is the 16th week. The 16th week it's been over 1 million jobless claims. So that's not good news. That's bad news. And I know that you hear the jobs numbers, they come out every month and people are all excited, or at least the last couple of months. Republicans are really, really happy about this. The senators are saying, yeah, look, we're on the way out of this recession and all that. But you have over 1 million people filing new jobless claims every week. That's a big deal. And so what that's telling us is a lot of the people are going back to work, but then you're having new people getting laid off and going into unemployment. So that's not a good thing. And one thing, you just think about this. And I was thinking about this last week. So we heard the jobs numbers come out. They were good. They were better than projected. And you didn't hear much when it came to the senators talking about, yeah, we're not going to do stimulus package, or we're not going to do a stimulus check. Actually, now they're even Mitch McConnell's talking about stimulus checks. He wasn't even talking about it before. So it's one of those deals where even though the jobs numbers look good, they knew that, look, we have to do something. The COVID-19 is starting to rise again. We're in a situation where we have to make some decisions. And so you didn't really hear that push for, no, we don't need a stimulus package. You hear some conservatives saying, yeah, we don't need a stimulus package, but they were saying that before. So you didn't hear a new push for not having another stimulus package. They weren't saying that. I mean, that was pretty much done, even though the jobs numbers looked good. And that's what they said they were waiting for, right? They were waiting for the jobs numbers. They came out, they looked good, and you didn't see a new push. So, I mean, that's a good thing. That means that at least they're getting it. They're understanding, hey, we still need to stimulate this economy because it's not going to get back to normal. All right, last story I want to talk about is United. So United and United Airlines. So United received $5 billion at the beginning of COVID-19. And it's bailout money, basically, to keep them afloat. They were paying their employees this whole time. And they had a stipulation where they could not lay anyone off until after September 30th. And that's within the hopes that they give you $5 billion. You're able to survive this, and then coronavirus will be over, and then you can get people back to work and start flying all over the world. Well, obviously, COVID-19 is still here, and United Airlines is saying we're running out of money. We're almost broke at this point, and so they're saying that they're going to have involuntary furloughs, and they will start October 1st. So that's crazy. And they're saying, look, we need more money. $5 billion. They spent $5 billion in the last few months. And so they need more money. Now, I know people are arguing, well, we shouldn't be giving them money. They should be able to survive on their own. But you have to understand the circumstances. You're shutting down a country for the most part. And so transportation is no longer able to do the same transportation that they were doing before. So you're forcing a company to the ground. You're forcing these employees to be laid off. And so, I mean, it's tough, but it's one of those deals where you can't just start an airline. It takes time to start an airline. So if you let these airlines go under, these legacy carriers, United, Delta, American Airlines, you let them go under, and that's going to be real bad news for everyone, because we're not going to be able to fly places, deliveries, mail deliveries. A lot of airlines, they transport U.S. postal mail, believe it or not. So it's one of these things where you really do need to focus on them and keep them afloat. But it's amazing, like $5 billion they spent in what is it, 4 or 5 months. That's pretty crazy. But nonetheless, they're asking for more money. We'll see what happens in the next couple of months. But that brings me to the last thing. Actually, this isn't the last story. The last thing I want to talk about is right now we're in a situation where this is the way I feel. This is my personal opinion. the government is not doing their job. They're not doing the work. And they want results, but they're not doing the hard work. And when I say the hard work, I mean making the hard decisions. We're in a situation where you need to take control of this. And we know that. We know COVID-19 is controlling all of this. And until we get COVID-19 under control, we're going to continue to have problems. We're going to continue to have these outbreaks everywhere. And companies are going to be shutting down, laying people off, and schools are not going to be able to open. Like right now, they're talking about, we're going to have kids going back to school in the fall. You need to do the work in order to get those kids to go back to school, because the government's primary job, their primary job is to keep us safe. That's their primary job. It's not the economy. It's to keep us safe. And right now, they're failing at that because COVID-19 is still here. And we're not addressing that. We're just saying you need to go back to work. You need to go back to school. So we're focused on the economy when we should be focusing on COVID-19 and how do we resolve that? That way, people will have the confidence to go back to work. Parents will have the confidence to send their kids back to school, because you're going to be in a situation like this. You're forcing schools to reopen. And if you get to a point where you start forcing schools to reopen, you're going to have teachers that aren't going to want to teach. So they'll probably go on strike. You're going to have parents that aren't going to want to send their kids to school for a variety of different reasons. They don't want their kids getting sick. They don't want their kids bringing COVID-19 back to the house. So there's so many different things that you have to think about. And so government needs to do the work. I mean, we saw all of June, the Senate sitting on their hands. All of June. All of June, they sat on their hands. And there was a lot of stuff that was going on in June. And they sat on their hands and did nothing. And now we're in a situation where they'll come back from recess, July 20th. They'll have 10 days to hash something out as far as another stimulus package, and then hopefully have some assistance for people by mid-August. Let's hope. If everything runs smooth, then maybe mid-August. And so you wasted a whole month there, because realistically, people could be getting assistance right now, but that's not the case. And one more thing too, when it comes down to, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but when it comes down to schools, local and state government, they need funding. They've needed funding for the last couple of months. That's something that should have been worked out. While the Senate was sitting on their hands all of June, they could have been funding these state and local governments. And then the schools would be equipped to allow kids to come back to school. But that funding never happened. So we'll see if it's in the next stimulus package. But it's one of those things where the government is not doing the work. When they start doing the work, then we'll see better results. But until that happens, I think we're in for another wave of COVID-19. And let's hope that they can get on board and figure something out when it comes to another stimulus package and make it fair for everyone and help us stimulate the economy. But if that doesn't happen, this is going to last for a long time. We're going to be talking about this same thing in November. We're going to be talking about it in December. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. One more thing I want to talk about. So I have a Discord now. So we have the Discord. This is the first time that I've really started a Discord. Well, this is the first time I started a Discord group. I had the WhatsApp group. So it's a stimulus check group. And I wanted to put everything in the same group. And so I started a Discord. And so you guys can join that. I have a link in the description. I had some people that reached out to me and said, you know what, I really want to be a part of this stimulus check group. And there's a lot of information that goes on in the stimulus check group where we're helping each other out and stuff. But because it was a WhatsApp group, not everyone had access to it. So not everyone had WhatsApp on their phone. So the Discord, you can use a computer. So you can use a web browser. You can use your phone. So it's easier to access. With WhatsApp, you have to have a phone. You can't just use a computer. So join that. Join that. It's free. Just sign up. I'll send you the link. You can go over there and join the Discord. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.